pop. You don't protect somebody by putting them in gym pop.
No.
Especially if
other people's after them.
If they're known and people are after them.
Because their cousin is in there with them.
Right.
And they're a celebrity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're trying to
find.
protect them, you ain't putting them in gym pop. So.
Not to mention, he's not the most subtle, incognito,
oh, no, not at all.
to the wall looking
not
dude.
At all.
Right.
Not at all. I can spot him. Stevie Wonder was like, wasn't that just 6'9"? Wasn't that 6'9" right there just walk by? I saw them. I saw them tattoos.
I'm just confused with his whole look, but if that's your look, that's your look.
Well, yeah. That's that millennial rapper look that we were talking about a few episodes ago. They all look the same. You got the face tats and some kind of braids or locks or twists or something like that, and you know, the skinny jeans and
that's 50 Boys, right? That's 50s.
Well, yeah, that's 50's boy, supposedly like his little adopted son or whatever, but 50 reneged on him. 50 said, call your mama, don't call me.
Oh, that sounds just like him.
he said, the feds are on your ass. Like, they tapping your shit. Why you don't call me?
Okay.
He's like, don't call me, call your mama.
He was like, I got out of that life.
He's like, I ain't about that shit. Call your mama.
But it sounds like an episode from The Wire.
It does. It really does. But I would like to hear more about the racketeering. Like, really? I'm like, wow.
But wasn't he a thug before he was famous?
I guess, yeah.
And so I guess he's just proving his authenticity.
They're saying that he runs with the some blood gang over there in Brooklyn where he's from, the 9 Trays or something.
They got Bloods in Brooklyn?
They got Bloods and Crips everywhere.
I thought that was just like a LA thing or California thing.
No, they got them in Chicago too.
Oh.
If you listen to Ice Cube, what album is that? He raps about how he tells a story about how they spread the gang, how they like go to St. Louis with a crew.
Oh,
and they start claiming, whatever, and, and they start selling whatever. And basically, he tells the story, in his raps about how they spread the Bloods and Crips across the country.
Oh, okay.
Along with dope, selling dope. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to find that, the name of that song. And
well, I did see that documentary, Banging in Little Rock. Where they were running around with the red rags and whatnot, but I've never seen anybody look like that, like from New York. It seemed like in New York they had like more. It's like more of a crew, and they don't like run around with like all red on or all blue on or something like that. I didn't think that it was there in New York. Like I think they just I thought that they just had crews that they.
No, I know it's definitely in Chicago.
They've had gangs in New York the whole time too.
Right.
They just, slightly different. They had names like the Warlords and, stuff instead of the Bloods and Crips, but the Vice Lords and
it was Vice Lords. I know Vice Lords, but it was Bloods and Crips in Chicago. And there was parts of Chicago you couldn't wear red and you couldn't wear blue in parts of Chicago,
okay,
especially on the west side and some parts of the south side.
Oh, okay.
Where they still shooting folk.
But yeah. So anyway, that's the gang that he runs with. I'm just surprised to hear like a racketeering charge or whatever. So
you just never know what
Capone and them did racketeering.
But you don't ever know what people doing behind the scenes.
The whole reason why they came up with that charge was for organized crime. That's the whole point of it.
But as he rises, he gets more contacts, right? So that's more business for his gang. And his associates. So I'm actually not surprised by this because I'm just gonna say he don't seem like the most stand up fella.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about the kid except how he looks. That's about it.
That's all I know.
That's it.
Bless his heart.
Yep.
He gonna be all right.
Somebody gonna put a hit out on him in jail.
So we told you guys a while back about the Sabrina series and their clash with the Temple of Satan and the lawsuit that has since been resolved.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, most of the details have been kept under wraps, so we don't know what the agreement was or how much they got paid or anything like that. All we do know is that the episodes that have aired they've edited the credits to give credit to the statue to the church of the Temple of Satan.
You would think that would actually sort of up their rep. for what the kind of show they are.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think it hurt anybody. I don't think it hurt, the church or Netflix's show.
Right.
So, but that's over, and that's settled.
Oh, okay.
Well, thanks, Satan.
There you go. Right. Hail Satan, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, you just can't throw people's stuff up in your TV show and not get, the clearance for it.
Exactly.
I don't care what it is.
And in other chilling adventures of Sabrina news, for those of us who like the show and have binged it and are anxious for the next season, well, there's a little surprise in store for us. We don't have to wait all the way until next season to get the next episode of Sabrina because there's a special Christmas episode called Chilling the Adventures of Sabrina, A Midwinter's Tale. And that's going to debut on December the 14th.
Okay.
So one episode, a special Christmas episode of Sabrina will be coming out.
Thank you, Satan.
He's so generous. He's so generous.
So Roz and I were talking before the show started. Like I was telling her, my girls, we watch the Christmas movies around this time of year.
Good for y'all. Y'all watch them so I don't have to.
Right. My girls like them more than I do. Right. They're very corny and not very good, especially now the ones that make it to the theater are better than the ones that are on Hallmark and Lifetime, and those made-for-TV ones are pretty crappy, even a lot of the ones for Netflix. But I ran across this one on Netflix, made for Netflix. It's a Netflix original, just came out on the 22nd. It's called The Christmas Chronicles, and it is awesome.
Oh,
really?
Wow.
It's starring, now take this for what it's worth. In context of Christmas movies, of TV Christmas movies, it is awesome, right? It's Kurt Russell plays the
Santa
best
Claus.
Santa ever, right? With a really, really cool story. And now, if you guys, if your family is into Christmas movies, this is definitely one of the better ones. Okay, again, for the ones that are made for TV or whatever, this is definitely one of the better ones. So grab the kids and the grandkids, whatever, sit around and turn on Netflix and check out The Christmas Chronicles. It's very cute, very cool. And Kurt Russell, like I said, he's the coolest Santa ever. He's got this cool Santa suit. He's not fat. He's got his Santa coat is like leather with fur. He looked like a pimp, right?
Kurt Russell as Santa that sound appealing.
And there's this cool little scene where he's in jail, not to spoil too much for whatever, and he's and then the next sale over are the prostitutes, and everybody starts singing, and Stephen Van Zant's in there, and it's cool. It's really fun.
I only wish Goldie Hawn was Mrs. Claus.
So he's like a bad Santa.
He's not a bad Santa.
No? He's just Santa. He's just a cool
Santa.
Santa.
He got a little bit of an edge. He's cool. He's like if Fonzie was in 2018 and was Santa, it'd be Kurt Russell.
Okay.
So a little, cool, but not old school Fonzie cool. A little more modern cool. Not overdone. You know what I mean? But not the traditional Santa. Yeah, he definitely got a little bit of an edge.
Okay.
It's still family friendly and all that, but yeah, he got a little bit of an edge.
Okay. Because
So
didn't
cool. Makes
what's
it
his
different.
name? Billy Bob.
Billy
Thornton,
Bob
he
did
played
Bad
like
Santa.
a bad Santa.
He did a bad
Twice.
Yeah, Bad Santa and Bad Santa 2 with our boy who's passed away, Bernie Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Bernie.
Bernie Mac.
I know.
Miss him.
Bernie was crazy.
Now, a lot of celebrities that I miss, but I definitely miss Bernie Mac.
You know who else I miss? Robin Harris.
Robin Harris is another one. Oh, my God. Yes.
Ooh, I would have loved to see him
Robin
just
Harris and
over the
Bernie Mac.
years
Oh, my
just
God.
do more comedy. That
He'd
would have
be a
been.
godfather
And both of
comedy.
their material still holds up. Like I was just, as a matter of fact, the last time you were here, Roz, I was telling you how I was listening to Bernie Mac, that routine that he did with Kings of Comedy about his sister's kids that came to stay with him. What the whole series is based on.
Yeah,
It's so politically incorrect.
Absolutely.
And like by today's standards, I don't know how
All the stuff about the gay
but
kid
it is
and-
hilarious.
Yeah.
It is
With the milk and
God.
cookies, that was my favorite part. The milk and cookies.
That's how milk and cookies.
That was hilarious.
That is so funny. It is so funny. Same thing, Robin Harris and Baby's Kids and all that stuff still holds up. Still
holds
funny.
up.
Holds
Test
up.
tube, baby.
Well, I just heard, this is not my idea. I'm so when somebody's like, somebody else said that. Somebody else did say this. D.L. Hughley said this about Robin Harris. That Robin Harris, like a lot of people like to, and it's true, Richard Pryor is such a influential comedian, Murphy, influential comedian. But if you really want to talk about the comics today, most of them is built off of what Robin Harris was doing. That was the breakthrough from the hood comedian to mainstream. Because it really was like, he stepped out of the black Chitlin Circuit clubs into the mainstream, and then he just didn't get his time. He passed away too soon.
Yeah.
Right.
But he would have been like the Kings of Comedy. He would have had his own TV series and all that stuff, most likely.
I think so.
Yeah.
He was hilarious.
But he opened the doors for the
very
a lot of people now that are just
Mm-hmm.
the standards now.
Yeah.
Well, before I get off the Netflix shows, I got one more Netflix show I want to recommend to you guys. It's a documentary series. It's it's the evolution of hip hop.
I've heard of
I saw that advertisement.
It's great. I just finished. It was 2 seasons. I don't know if they're going to do a third or what, or if it's done. But it's only 4 episodes per season, so there's a total of 8 episodes. It starts off, in New York at the very beginning with, Kool Herc and all the very, Melly Mel and all those guys. The first 3 episodes are all the beginning, the early stages of New York. The 4th one is when they go to the West Coast and they start talking about, NWA and introduction to gangster rap.
Oh, okay.
And then the beginning of the 2nd season, they go down south and talk about Luke and Miami Bass sound and all that. Then they go from there to over to Houston with Rap a Lot and Scarface and the Ghetto Boys and those guys. And then they go back up to the West Coast in Oakland to Too Short and E40 and Tupac and Digital Underground and all those guys.
Yeah.
it's really good. It
sounds good.
It sounds comprehensive too.
There are
Did they do Outkast? Did they skip Atlanta?
That's
Atlanta.
the one thing. There's a lot of people that are omitted. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's done yet.
And the Goody Mob.
They can't talk about everybody just for the sake of time. They can't. They
got to get Atlanta in.
But there's a lot of people missing. Obviously, I think there's noticeably missing are the female contribution. They did one little kind of, they shared a segment when they went back to New York again and started talking about the native tongue crew, like the De La Soul and Jungle Brothers and all those guys, and because Queen Latifah was a part of that posse and Moni Love, so they got a little bit of shine there, but not that much. They did interview like Roxanne Shante and some of the other ones, on just rap in general, or some of the other aspects of it, or some of the other segments. But they really didn't have like an extensive coverage of like females. And
they'll probably have a lot of others. They'll probably do other episodes.
Yeah, if they do more seasons.
Was really good, and there's a whole bunch of legends, just all the legends.
You know, I'm not the biggest hip hop fan, and it's not that I don't like hip hop. It's just that's not my genre.
Right.
And I really clicked off honestly in the '90s because that's when it turned more as for the gangster rap. And I was like, I was not down for that because they wasn't speaking to any experience I could relate to. So then it came back around to something else, and I'm like, and I've mostly have come back to hip hop actually because of Atlanta artists, because I got into the pop hip hop, which I know a lot of actual real hip hop artists and fans hate. But that's as close as I can get. Usually, right. I mean, it's obviously some people that I like.
But yeah, it was really good. It's
that sounds
check it out.
good.
Yeah,
I would check that out.
A lot of good stories. A lot of the stories that you don't know, the ones that you do know. It's a lot, and it covers a lot. And it's really good. If you're even if you're not into hip hop, but if you're interested in things like that, or
because it's history.
Yeah, exactly.
It's history,
and it's musical, and it's
and it's in our lifetime.
And it's a trip. Some of the things that you find, like the big. They had a big famous blackout in New York in the 70s.
Oh, I remember hearing about that.
That blackout contributed heavily to the development of hip hop. Yeah. And the reason why
people stole turntables is
because they stole not just turntables, all kinds of equipment. And with the equipment that they got from that blackout facility, they were able to elevate their skills and their games, whatever. And yeah, it was stealing and it was illegal, whatever. But it's a fact. It's history, and it's like amazing that this blackout contributed so heavily because they talk about beforehand a lot of the stuff. These guys were like a lot of them just pure geniuses. They do,